All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Jens and Yumiko, taking place here on Tide Hunters. Jens spawning as well. Hold on, let me change the colors. There we go. Jens spawning as the red night elf over here on the bottom right-hand side of the map as the red night elf. Meanwhile, Yumiko spawning as the blue undead on the top left. Should be a great matchup here. Let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark of the game where, well, everything really begins. Undead versus Night Elf in a 1v1 should be a great game as we are looking at a Keeper of the Grove going up against a Death Knight. No real go wide strategy for Yumiko this time with the Crypt Lord, instead going for classic, it looks like a ghoul opening as this game does get underway. The Death Knight a little bit later than normal as the Keeper of the Grove already out on the field, as we see some treants joining in on the battle as well. Alright, Forest Troll Berserker going to go ahead get taken down. Sea Giant Knight fighting against all of these treants here as the Ancient of War now making its way off to the north. We can see a Wisp purposely aggroing, pulling away some of those units. We're going to see a little bit of an engagement. There's some treants, and that Snarecaster are going to get quickly surrounded by 4 of those treants there, making sure to take that down quickly with that normal damage. Off to the north, Death Knight here, Ritual Dagger, Rod of Necromancy, Sacrificial Skull, 1 charge already used. Now looking to clear out this gold mine creep camp. Death Knight, I do believe it will get to level 2. Is there enough experience off of these two guys here, or is it just going to be shy? Trying to remember. Oh, wow. 4 experience, just a little bit shy here as the Keeper of the Grove looks to get an entangle off perhaps on an unsuspecting or completely suspecting ghoul, but the Death Knight should be able to get over there with a Death Coil if it does get entangled. And, well, what can really the Keeper of the Grove really do here? Death Knight getting Congo lined by the... Congo lining that Keeper of the Grove. You saw all those skeletal minions and all of those other units here. Meanwhile, what's happening back at home? Jens is creating that Tree of Life. We are looking at a couple of ghouls and skeletal minions making their way back off to the north as a Nerubian tower is currently getting upgraded. Acolytes are on Blight, and that Nerubian tower, well, you don't know how far along that upgrade is. Perhaps one of the reasons why to use those new, use the new graphics of WarCraft 3 Reforged, you can actually see the progress of the building over time, and, well, that may give you a little bit more information, which, well, could help you decide whether or not you want to place down the pressure or perhaps just back away. Nightcrawler about to get taken down here. There's level 2 on that Death Knight. And, well, picking up a Gloves of Haste, quickly clearing out the remainder of this Murloc Huntsman creep camp. The gold mine still needs about another 68 seconds as the Tree of Life, even when it is completed, is going to take some time to uproot, walk over there, and also entangle that gold mine. Undead, well, winning in the experience race as the Keeper of the Grove picks up a Scroll of the Beast, the most converted item to gold, I believe, out of all of the consumable items that can be dropped. Keeper of the Grove, well, is he going to try and buy an item or sell it or do exactly what with it, as we are teching the tier 2 and already nearly done. Remember, Druids of the Claw, as they come out, already have Roar, so that's another reason why that's not particularly useful for that Night Elf army. All right, Necropolis looking to get completed here. We do see a tech to tier 2, so that's important. So we can see there is a good number of acolytes off over here. 4 acolytes, and this Necropolis is going to end up getting taken down. Keeper of the Grove opted for level 2 entangle first, so 1 acolyte already down, and that's going to further delay even more. Are we going to see another entangle? No, there's another Necropolis trying to be set up, and we are going to be looking at 3/5 or 4/5 saturation, at least for now. Keeper of the Grove trying to get in some damage or shake away, turn back around. No, not going to go for a Scroll of Town Portal as the Tree of Life getting into position and now entangling that gold mine. All right, Panda already out on the battlefield for Jens. Meanwhile, we are looking at an 80-second opportunity for a Jens to creep with this Brewmaster before anything else happens. Keeper of the Grove could have a little bit of a bad day trying to break free here and then gets absolutely surrounded. Are we going to look? Well, nope. Quick scroll of Town Portal. Going to get the heck out of Dodge. Head back home. Didn't want to drain all of that Moonwell juice, as we see dual Ancients of Lore currently getting constructed. And there is, well, importantly, no Ancient of Lore yet. No, not Ancient of Lore, Ancient of Wonders to buy another Scroll of Town Portal or perhaps even a Staff of Preservation. Panda, Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, 1-2 combination for that damage over time. Wisp already migrating off to the north. This one, Goblin Shredder, really should be trying to get in a little bit of harvesting, as the Panda now, well, is trying to blow his way out of this, well, paper bag sort of situation. All right, well, Staff of Preservation would have been very useful. Brewmaster, no additional Drunken Haze, but we can see a lot of damage being done. There goes another Ghoul as well. Level 2 Brewmaster did fall, but well, a handful of units did end up getting cleaned up here, as we're looking at, well, Illusions going to get taken down pretty easily once more. All right, Brewmaster going to get resurrected at level 2. Most likely, I would assume, back at home. Wouldn't take too much. Yeah, not quite sure why that isn't happening yet, nor just going to resurrect at the... resurrect at the tavern. All right, resurrecting at the tavern. And we're looking at, well, Dryads making their way across here. A couple of skeletal minions have dived in. We're looking at some slow poison. Should be very obvious which one is the real guy, as the Panda now looks, well, to clear up the remainder of this enraged elemental creep camp, while the Keeper of the Grove, well, using up a clarity potion, picks up a Staff of Preservation and also a potion of mana. Panda wanting to get to level 3, gonna take a little bit more time to get there. Enraged elemental about to get taken down. There it goes, as the Brewmaster now shows up. Brewmaster should be able to get to level 3 off of this creep camp here, needing 4 more experience. Keeper of the Grove, double backing around. Are we going to see a little bit of damage? There's some slow poison damage there. There's a Death Coil, and that is going to be some major damage indeed. A Death Knight having a little bit of problems. Are we going to see an Entangle? No, we do not, as the Entangle was still on cooldown, allowing the Death Knight to get away. Death Knight is training up a Lich behind this, but he's going to have, the Lich is going to be, well, paired against a level 3 Brewmaster already. And if the Keeper of the Grove and the Brewmaster can get to level 5 quickly and then force engagements, that will give them a big window of opportunity to gain experience from for their heroes, while forcing a battle that, well, the Lich and the Death Knight would just want time to try and clear out more and more creep camps with. All right, Dryads are already out. We're looking at, well, Abolish Magic now being done. Still haven't seen a single Druid of the Claw as of yet, even though Rejuvenation would be incredibly helpful right now. Keeper of the Grove looking to back away. Brewmaster getting tanking quite a bit of damage. Level 2 Breath of Fire, as the Keeper of the Grove now comes around, summons in some more Treants, and now, well, gonna look to finish off this Snare Caster here. All right, in terms of control, map control, Jens has a strong advantage over Yumiko right now. We are looking at level 3, nearly level 4, and a level 2 Lich. Meanwhile, both the Keeper of the Grove and that Brewmaster are both getting very close to level 4 indeed. Gargantuan Sea Turtle is going to get taken out in pretty much no time flat, as a couple of these Treants are going to end up falling. Brewmaster picks up a Wand of Mana Sling, not quite the item he was looking for, perhaps another survivability item, as the Death Knight picks up, well, oh no, hasn't picked up anything yet. Gargantuan Sea Turtle still alive. What consumable item will be picked up here? Perhaps a Potion of Greater Healing or a Potion of Greater Mana there, both of which incredibly powerful for that Death Knight, who needs a little bit of survivability as well. All right, Brewmaster 4. Keeper of the Grove still sitting at 3. Brewmaster perhaps looking to get to level 4 and level 5 for that level 3 Breath of Fire. Still has level 1 Drunken Haze right now. Druids of the Claw are at Adept training. could get some more rejuvenations on that primary hero, as we are at Tree of Eternity and now getting mastery training for those bears. These two sides really just trying to figure out what the other is up to. Level 3, level 4 going up against level 4, soon to be level 3 on that Lich. And with that done there, the nuking power of the undead just gets that much stronger with level 2 Frost Nova. Alright, Brewmaster wants to try and blow things over across all of these obsidian statues and other units. There's a Death Coil Frost Nova, a nasty 1-2 punch for any tier 2 unit. Even with magic resistance, that archer just does not stand a chance. Heading back off to the north here. Both sides looking to engage. There's a handful or 2 creep camps that are all that are really left. Orb of Venom by the Keeper of the Grove to get a little bit of damage over time. And now, or perhaps looking to get that Druid of the Claw ready to join in on that battlefield. It doesn't want to get hit by a Death Coil or Frost Nova while in that Druid form, as it doesn't have as many hit points to tank with just quite yet. We do see some hippogriffs coming online, perhaps to deal with the potential threat of destroyers, but then again, those Crypt Fiends do short work on those units once more. Crypt Fiends able to poke through that creep camp fairly easily. Couple more Murlocs here, and now the difficult moss-covered granite golem over here on the top right-hand side of the map. Brewmaster looking to engage. There's going to be some damage. Level 9, level 5, level 2. Creep camps are all that are here. Mud golems could get taken down quickly. We're going to be looking at a couple of slams perhaps, as the moss-covered golem still going after all of these targets here, but really kind of wasting time. You're going to see that the undead is now rushing across in. Druid of the Claws ready to go into battle form, as we see a Death Coil Frost Nova again, just picking off those very low hit point archers. Archers could try and mount and become Hippogriff Riders. That could be helpful just because it would give them a larger pool of hit points and not necessarily get one shot so easily. But as you can see, that web also causes quite a bit of problems, as the Druids of the Talon in that Druid form, in that fighting form, still not quite enough. Does have 40 hit points, and we're looking at that Lich trying to back away. Oh, no Breath of Fire, no follow-up damage, able to retreat back, as Yumiko says, you know what, this is going to be a lasting battle. Let's see what's going to happen, and he's going to pretty much escape with everything. Yumiko picking off a couple of archers fairly easily. Keeper of the Grove, Panda wanting to get a little bit more experience. 4-3 going up against 4-3, as a Tree of Life now being built on the southern side. This moss-covered granite golem creep camp should get cleared out pretty fast. Panda also relatively low on mana, not going to be able to use Breath of Fire very effectively. Sea Giant Hunter easily going to get taken down. There goes one, there goes the other, and now finally that moss-covered granite golem will fall last. Brewmaster gets Kagar's Pipe of Insight. That Brilliance Aura, absolutely brilliant for this Night Elf army, especially those bears and those Dryads. Any little bit does definitely help get a little bit more experience, as the Keeper of the Grove had purposely backed away from all of the creeping, staying simply at level 3. A level 5, level 3 compared to a level 3 hero. Or level 5, level 3 compared to level 4, level 3. But I wonder if things would be better for Jens if he was actually at level 4, level 4. Difficult to say. It really will boil down to how well those breaths of fire can kind of blow over this back line and slowly start draining mana out of those obsidian statues. Southern side, Ghoul does spot this Tree of Life. I don't believe it's going to be enough to... Well, it actually might be enough to keep its hit points steady. The Ghouls do have Frenzy, so they are attacking fairly fast. Yumiko at 87 supply, currently in high upkeep, as all the Druids of the Talon quickly get webbed down. There's a big roar, there's a Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, Brewmaster trying to blow things over. We're looking at the Druids of the Talon continuing to fight here, unable to do very much as the Druids of the Talon head back up into the air. A lot of damage, a lot of fairy fire. So that is going to be some big damage indeed. There's going to be one Druid of the Claw, or excuse me, one Crypt Fiend getting taken out. One Druid of the Talon down to 14 hit points, still staying alive. There's a Death Coil, or there's a Frost Nova, there's a Breath of Fire, but not enough to blow anything over just quite yet. 76 supply compared to 69. Yumiko, remember, had 86 supply at the start of that battle, had the supply advantage, and now has turned it into a supply lost as Jens still banking a fair amount of gold while trying to avoid high upkeep.
A town is under siege.
All right, pressure about to be placed down at the 16-minute mark of this game. Couple of treants now looking to back away. Some fairy fire across skeletal warriors and skeletal minions. That fairy fire is going to, well, prevent a lot of these, cause a lot of these Druids of the Talon to be low on mana. These skeletal mages and skeletal minion, you don't want to be auto-casting fairy fire if your opponent has a go-wide army like this.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right. A little bit of a battle getting ready or getting underway. Dryads have plenty of mana. We should be looking at some rejuvenations onto some Druids of the Talon as well, and some Dryads. There we are. There's some rejuvenations going across the board, trying to help those Druids of the Talon get into position here as we're getting into a battle. Dual obsidian statues, and, well, more importantly, those meat wagons. You're going to see those take big chunks out of the Ancient here, especially an Ancient of War that's already down to 345 hit points. There goes a Frost Nova, some Fairy Dragons, and Mana Flare being used effectively, except one Fairy Dragon went just a little bit too far. Even with that bonus armor, not enough. All right, Skeletal Minion and Skeletal Mage, Skeletal Warrior and Skeletal Mage, that Skeletal Minion duo able to fight back and summon up a pretty powerful army as the Brewmaster now out of mana. There was the detonation onto the Brewmaster as well, so the Brewmaster lost a fair bit of mana too, and not going to be able to Breath of Fire and blow over these skeletal minions. All right, there are Wisps in the back, but Wisps trying to detonate on a back line since they can no longer Forest Walk for a long time now, cannot detonate onto those units. I don't know, maybe you should be able to just Forest Walk through your own units. That way you could, if you want, Forest Walk and then detonate on that front line of skeletal minions. Coming back through, Druids of the Claw, there goes one. That gives level 4 to the Lich. Level 6 now on the Brewmaster. And look at this, a handful, 4 Druids of the Claw, all in the red. Some even below 100, or 2 even below 100 hit points. And they need to heal back up and perhaps think about their timing. All right, there goes one archer and another. So archers are just biting the dust here in order to train up perhaps a third. No, now going into hardened skin.
A player's forces are under attack.
Skeletal mages poking apart those Force of Nature treants as they walk by here. We are looking at 4,000 gold left. 3,500 here. Main gold mines don't have much mining left either. And it may come down to the expansions and who's going to be able to take up another base. Archers constantly getting, well, cleared up to free up some supply. Level 6, level 4, nearly level 5. So nearly having 2 full levels over their opponent. And the Brewmaster does have Earthstorm and Fire, but needs to consider his options. Breath of Fire at level 3. If you're able to get off multiple Breaths of Fire, that could be just as impactful as Earthstorm and Fire. Earthstorm and Fire, perhaps more of a get out of jail free card if things do not go right. All right, Fairy Dragons going into that Fairy Dragon mode. Additional armor, but it may not be enough as Earthstorm and Fire now coming online to try and clear the way. All right. Unit's going to get cleared up. There is still Brilliance Aura. Not quite sure which one actually provides Brilliance Aura. Pandarin right there. We're looking at the Druids of the Talon still with Brilliance Aura. It is not on the Keeper of the Grove as you see the units fall back once more. So
Player's
my
forces
guess would have to be it is on Earth in order to figure out who has that special ability. Earth is in that front spot. Remember, Earth is where units surround, pulverize from that panda, and here we are, just skeletal minions getting cleaned and detonated up so easily. Just so much damage across the board. Brewmaster currently sitting at 6, nearly at, well, 6.5, as we're looking at the Lich getting resurrected at the tavern. Units fall back again. 94 supply compared to 89. Both sides in high upkeep. This could potentially be a problem as the Brewmaster gets a rejuvenation and, well, just waiting for the opportunity to use Earth, Storm, and Fire again. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove slowly still building more and more experience, and those skeletal minions are slowly feeding the experience of the Keeper of the Grove rather nicely. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire from that panda, trying to blow things over again. A couple of Wisps getting detonated. Are we seeing more damage get racked up again here? Skeletal, well, Druid of the Claw trying to retreat back. Is it going to get Staff of Preservation? That is a definite possibility as the Chimeras join forces and, well, are able to really post down quite a bit of damage against some of these skeletal warriors. Skeletal mages not so much, as the skeletal mages have medium armor and therefore take less damage. Obsidian statues, are they going to be able to get free? There's some more damage again. Are we going to see some Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire? Needs a little bit more mana. Kagar's Pipe of Insight gives that mana to him, but now out of range. We're going to see a Breath of Fire here, just simply waiting for it. There's level 7 now on the Brewmaster, as we're seeing more damage coming through. Level 7, level 6, Keeper of the Grove. Well, did it really Staff of Preservation the panda? It did. So Staff of Preservation's the panda now heads back off to the north. Keeper of the Grove could have easily used Tranquility here to heal back up some of these high hit point tanky units. The Druids of the Claw and the Chimera both going to be benefiting a lot here when the time comes. All right, Druids of the Talon trying to retreat back. Going to go back into Druid form. We're going to look at a little bit of a fight. There's some damage here. Chimeras cannot attack. And there's a little bit of damage. Destroyer quickly gets taken down. Panda could turn back around, try and blow over all of these skeletal mages. And that is a lot of skeletal minions. Big Frost Nova goes down onto the Druid of the Talon. Druid of the Talon's days are pretty much numbered, but it is still flying high right now, as a couple of Druids of the Claw are going to end up getting eaten. 96 supply compared to 88. Both sides still fighting. Brewmaster looking to perhaps get a Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire off on all of these fleeing units. There's a Breath of Fire instead, no Drunken Haze, as the Brewmaster looking to finish off these skeletal mages here at the 23-minute mark of the game. Keeper of the Grove does use Tranquility. You can see the Druid of the Claw, how quickly its 960 hit points are healing. And, well, that Druid of the Claw's Keeper of the Grove Tranquility will be ready again in about 45 seconds. Another Breath of Fire across all of those units again. We're looking at Skeletal Mages trying to retreat back. Skeletal Mages getting stalled up. Level 7, level 6 now. And, well, Jens is looking very strong. With that Kagar's Pipe of Insight, he's been able to keep and maintain mana on those Druids of the Claw, who can consistently heal up with rejuvenation that panda and that Keeper of the Grove. Panda still looking to put pressure on through skeletal mages, getting torn down here. Brewmaster down to 470 hit points. Are we going to see rejuvenations go down as well? I do believe so. Yes, already up to 643, as the army of Jens is just slowly chipping away at Yumiko's. Death Knight forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal. Treant now backing away here. Main base nearly mined out, I gotta believe. Nope, is mined out. Already mined out here on the southern side as well, as the Tree of Eternity has picked itself up and made its way to the 6 o'clock spot. Now, mining from Yumiko is pretty much a what you see is what you get situation. No gold really being harvested at all. As a Goblin Shredder, well, was able to do quite a bit of damage, delay that gold mine again. And as long as they're able to delay the gold mine, and as long as Jens is able to defend this expansion, this battle is going to go very well for Jens, who has dual level 7 heroes. That has to be the case here. This expo is nowhere near being mined right now, so every bit of gold that you get, well, every second is a 4 gold advantage. All right. Both sides getting ready to engage. There's some abolished magic. A couple of dryads getting cleaned up here. A couple of taunts as well. Druids of the Claw gonna try and engage. There's a roar. And well, there's some devour or abolished magic or devour magic as well to try and prevent the chimeras from having that all-powerful roar. Units still trying to retreat back out here. There's a big breath of fire. And well, that meat wagon about to get taken down. One more shot would have done it, but no, it's able to live and fight another day as more skeletal mages pop up out of that meat wagon, so to speak, as the Dryad now here falls back once more. All right, Chimera is still doing a great job continuing the poke. We're looking at level 7, level 8, going up against level 5, level 4. Really, this story could flip if that Lich can get to level 5. That's the first thing that needs to happen to try and prolong this game, as that would then allow for bigger Frost Nova combinations onto a relatively fragile Keeper of the Grove, who only has 620 hit points right now. Continue the fight. Well, level 5 now on that Lich. That could potentially be trouble. Lich up to 190 mana already, gonna go after some additional targets. Perhaps he wants to go after a Crypt or something of that nature, as damage is still piling up here. 8.5 and 7, and the Keeper of the Grove using Tranquility in a battle in order to stay alive, and to do so he is right now, as the fleeing units of Yumiko are just suffering large amounts of damage. 84 supply compared to 82. Both sides fighting. Keeper the Grove continuing the chase here. There's another breath of fire to try to blow things over. There goes another Crypt Fiend. 75 supply compared to 84. Is this going to be the hair that broke the camel's back? Losing one or too many units here in this battle. There's a breath of fire. One obsidian statue gone. Another one about to get attacked by that panda. It could have been a 6 supply kill right up until the very end, but instead one of those obsidian statues get away. All right. Tree of Life of Jens has walked all the way across the map from the 3 o'clock starting expansion location to the 9 o'clock here, and this is just gonna continue to place pressure and try and buy a little bit of time. Keeper the Grove, is he just gonna let this base fall, so to speak, as all the piercing damage here not gonna be enough? Meanwhile, Druids of the Claw in a very formidable position, having the economic advantage, having the army size advantage, and I don't know if he has the tech advantage, but I believe he does. 2 upgrades on his Druids of the Claw and Dryad compared to nothing for Yumiko. Panda comes back in, asks what did he miss in the battle, sees a whole bunch of, well, bloodied undead units, as the Panda says, oh, here, have some drunken caves. And that will be the game. Yumiko loses to Jens here on Tidehunters. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.